Okay, Sharon Angle, Carly Fiorina, Christine O'Donnell, some of the most high-profile and most controversial candidates, frankly, running this year are women. But will they be able to sway the female vote? Joining me to talk about all of this is Maru Gonazalez. She's an educator and a Democrat who supports President Barack Obama. She is in Boston. And with me right here in Atlanta is Orit Sklar, a graduate of Georgia Tech and a conservative activist. I'll start with you here. So will women vote for women?
Women are going to consider the fact that there are female candidates running, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're going to look at which candidate better represents them, which candidate has a better platform and a better vision for their local government, for their state, for their country that is going to affect them and their family.
But just like if there's an Hispanic candidate, there's an African-American candidate, if there's a candidate who kind of looks like you think you may have an advantage with the voters who look like you are, that you may see it. If you're looking to vote for someone, you may say, oh, okay, well, that person's an African-American, I'll pay attention to them, that person's a woman. But that's not necessarily the deciding factor, is it?
Everyone can make up their own mind as to who they're going to vote for. It can be a number of factors, but ultimately, if you ask people to look beyond the surface, to really evaluate candidates on the major issues, when we have out-of-control spending, we have a health care law that's going to raise premiums, when we have limited choice in terms of education and runaway debt, I really think women are considering all of these factors when they consider who they're going to vote for.
Okay, Maru, here's what a poll that CNN put out this morning said 49% of women say that they'll vote for the generic Democrat in their district. 45% of women say they'll vote for the generic Republican in their district. So traditionally, there is an indication, polls indicate that women support Democratic candidates. Why is that?
Absolutely, and I don't think that this is a coincidence. I mean, if you look at the Democratic platform, Democrats historically have supported reproductive rights for women. They've supported health care access for women. They've supported gender equity in terms of pay for women. They've supported LGBT rights, which also supports women in that a lot of sexism is manifested in anti-LGBT bias. So I don't think it's a coincidence that you've had 25 female senators out of 38 in the history of Congress are female, and far and away, females support Democratic candidates because Democratic candidates speak for women.
Yeah, so I was reading the poll, females support Democratic candidates, but do women vote for other women? Because we've heard that before. We heard it in the midterms in 2006. We heard it in 2008, that women, this partially catty, like the comments that were made out on the campaign trail. Oh, that's so 5 years ago, her hair that was made by Carly Fiorina. There are people who say that women, for the most part, won't support other women. What's going on?
Well, I certainly think that women support other women, but I don't necessarily think women vote according to gender lines. And if you look at a lot of the prominent Republican candidates, like Sharon Angle, like Christine O'Donnell, like Sarah Palin when she ran in 2008, they are far and away supported by white male Republicans. I heard the other day, if only white male Republicans could vote, Sarah Palin could very well be president in 2012. So I think women are looking at the issues, and they're looking at which candidates support rights for women. And right now, a lot of the Republican candidates for governor, I have to say, although they are women, they are anti-women in their policies and platforms.
Orit here, she's disagreeing. Why? Go ahead.
Like, it's like if you're a conservative woman and you don't espouse the liberal ideology, then you're anti-woman. I mean, this is what we've heard from feminists everywhere.
But when you hear about things like reproductive rights, how is that, you hear about reproductive rights and rights for women for certain things. That doesn't go against an issue that a woman would want to be in charge of her own body?
I think women care about life, and we see the women who are running around the country. You have Meg Whitman, Carly Fiorina, Christine O'Donnell, Sharon Angle. Sharon Angle is going to take out the Senate Majority Leader. This is extremely significant, and women's groups that claim to be nonpartisan should be supportive of the women who are running on the Republican ticket. But what we see is women are advancing in business, and we see that they are more concerned more than ever about the economy. And come Tuesday, we are going to see a historic shift towards the Republican Party in terms of the women's vote, and it might not be the majority, but it's about incremental steps.
Just quickly, I'm going to get back to Maru and give you the final thing to say, but here, we talked a little bit about the catty factor, and you agree there is that when it comes to looking at a woman.
Men are catty as well. It's not all about women, and we have to look at all of the candidates and all of what they're saying, and people should hold everyone accountable for that. But let's look beyond those types of sound bites, and let's make it about the issues. Let's talk about the economy.
Right. I completely agree that we need. I completely agree that we need to make it about the issues. But when you talk about cattiness, when you talk about the sexist rhetoric that's been coming out of these elections, you have to look at these female Republican candidates who have some of the things that they've been saying, that their opponents need to man up. Christine O'Donnell telling Mike Castle that he needed to put his man pants on. I mean, I think this sexist rhetoric is very troubling, especially coming from women candidates. I mean, it's perpetuating the stereotype that to be female is to be weak, and that having any sort of feminine qualities does not make one a strong candidate. And I reject that notion, and I think all women should.
Maru, Gonazalez is going to have to be the last word. Thank you very much, Orit, Sklar. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Don.
Very interesting talk.